We're gonna do another horror story, mainly because I wanna do my main stuff again, like like this type of stuff, but I don't wanna get copyright claimed, so we're gonna do another horror story. Hey, look at that, 11 views. Cool. Nothing too crazy. Wait. In my opinion, bro. Okay, get that out of here. There we go. No, Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC. Warning, some of these are mega scary. They might let you sleep. Roll to a great start. The article contains spoilers from Arkham City. Great, I haven't even finished Arkham City. I streamed the game once, and I might go back to it, I don't know. Let's see. Well, I have a short memory, so I don't have that much of a memory, so that's good. Also, will paladins please shut up? How long till the bell pass ends? 5 days. Aww. I can't play that, it's copywritten. Just to be on the safe side. Alright. There needs to be more Batman stories. As most of you who've played Arkham City probably already know, there is an Easter egg which you can discover that Harley Quinn is pregnant. For those of you who don't know, when you go to the room in the steel mill where the Joker and Harley Quinn are hiding out, you can see Harley's costume from the first game. If you look down on the floor next to it, you can see a pregnancy test that reads positive. Originally, I wasn't sure if that was just a gag they decided to throw in there, or if they were planning on using that as a plot device for a possible sequel. Also, I'm going to try to hurry this up and read through the whole thing because I've got food in front of me. I've got my dinner in front of me, and I need to eat in game. The multiverse is calling my name, so. However, as some of you may also know, Harley can be heard singing to a baby in the end credits. That got me really okay, sorry. Cut. However, as some of you may also know, Harley can be heard singing to a baby in the end credits. That got me real excited. I thought that would be a great storyline for the next Arkham game. Then I heard they were making a DLC, Harley Quinn's Revenge, which takes place after the ending of the main campaign where the Joker dies. I was a little disappointed that Joker's death and Harley's baby would be used as a DLC rather than an actual sequel, but I still thought it was cool nonetheless. When the DLC was announced, I went to go buy a used copy from GameStop. I had previously sold my original copy after I finished it. It didn't look like there was anything wrong with it. It just looked like any other used game you would buy. For about a month I played it, completing Riddler challenges and various side missions in the main campaign. I noticed absolutely nothing wrong with it. All my original save data was there, and everything. There were only two minor differences that I noticed. The first one was that normally you can see the Penguin trapped in the glass exhibit case in the museum where Batman puts him in after the Solomon Grundy boss. This time he wasn't there. I didn't really make anything of it. I figured it was just a glitch, but the next thing I noticed was just stranger. If you go to the movie theater where you fight Clayface, you go inside and end up in the basement where you fight the second phase of the boss. The first thing that was weird about this is that normally after beating the game, you can't go back into the theater at all. And second, as soon as you walk through the door, you just skip right to the basement. The final boss music was still playing, the Lodger's pit was still there. The Clayface wasn't. I wasn't able to find a way out to the basement. I decided that I had to reset the game. Neither of those things concerned me. In fact, they were very well made. Just be plain glitch. I can't read. They very well may just be plain glitches and not connected to the rest of the story at all. This guy needs to learn grammar. I'm sorry. Eventually, when the DLC was released, I downloaded it and still noticed nothing wrong until I got to the room where the Easter egg was originally found. I already knew there would be a different Easter egg. This time I saw it in a walkthrough on YouTube prior to encountering it. What's normally supposed to happen is that in the center of the room you can see a crib with a Joker doll inside it, and a bunch of discarded pregnancy tests that all read negative. In the crib itself, in the crib itself, you can see the box of pregnancy tests that read, warning, test may be result to false positive. That's what I was expecting to see, but instead, what I got was something entirely different. There were no pregnancy tests laying around, and there was something different inside the crib along with the Joker doll. There was a small limp figure laying face down, and what looked like small bloodstains around it. He was wearing purple, and it was a bit smaller than the Joker doll. I zoomed the camera in on it, and it looked like a baby, only it was too small to be an actual baby. At this point, I noticed that there was no sound. The TV wasn't even muted. This is when I started to be concerned. Then I noticed an action icon had appeared in the bottom of the screen. It read check. Curious, I pressed it, and the camera stayed on Batman's perspective. Oh gosh, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, never mind. Stayed on Batman's perspective as he grabbed the figure. The head and the limbs sagged down lifelessly as he picked it up. He turned around so the camera could see it. It was indeed a baby. Batman gasped and sucked, and my heart froze. It was clearly dead, and it wasn't just a generic looking baby, it was a newborn. As in a few days old newborn. It was scary how close it looked to an actual newborn child, and how lifeless it looked. It wasn't decomposed or anything, but there were light bloodstains on it, and it just looked so lifeless. Not moving an inch. The head and the limbs were sagging. It looked like an inanimate object. Batman held the baby for a few seconds, and then there was a shrill scream that made me jump out of my skin. No. Then there was a bang, and Batman suddenly dropped the baby back into the crib. As he fell to the ground, the camera stayed on his perspective as he lied in the ground. You could see a baseball bat laying next to him, as well as Harley's feet, facing the crib as she was leaning on it. The scream clearly came from her, and she was crying uncontrollably. The cry sounded very genuine and distressed. I couldn't even tell if it was the same voice actress or not. And the picture faded to black, and when it came back, the camera was still in Batman's perspective. He was lying on the floor in the Joker shrine seen later on in the DLC. I didn't actually make it to this part, but I saw it in a walkthrough. And in the background, you could faintly hear "Only You," as sung by Joker in the end credits. All I was able to do was control the camera. I couldn't move from where I was laying. I happened to be focusing the camera on the glass ball, but at the Joker statue was holding where Batman was originally kept. Only I noticed the Joker was inside it. Instead, he was propped up against the side of the ball. His head was facing downward, obviously because he was dead. I kept the camera on him for a few seconds, and I noticed his head began to look upward. it was far off in the distance, so you wouldn't have noticed it unless you happened to be paying attention to it. That's when I lost it. With my heart racing, I flew from my chair and ejected the disc from my system, and I put it back in the case. Wouldn't serve was to trade it back into the GameStop where I got it from, or just not play it. I just threw it in my closet until I could make a decision. I still don't know what to do with it. It's been in my closet ever since. I don't know if it's that specific copy, or if the previous owner had tampered with it, or if somebody tampered with the download itself somehow, if that's even possible, or what it could have been. All I know is that I won't be playing that specific copy again until I figure out what to do with it. That took way too freaking long to read. I apologize. So, I'm gonna go ahead and have the... Oh man, I can't put up like that. I can't move it around like... No, stop. That was Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC. I've heard it before, like on YouTube, and I'm like, I want to try to read it. Hold on, I have to read this part again, because every time I listen to the narration of it, I'm like, did I read that? Did I hear that right? So let's see. Far from the distance, let's see. Joker was dead. He was propped up against the side of the ball, and his head was facing downwards because he was dead. I kept the camera on him when he looked upwards. It was far from the distance. My heart was racing. Is it because he was dead and he looked up? I don't get it. You know what? I'm giving the story thinking 5 out of 10, mainly because there's no Batman creepypastas, and this is probably like the only one. No, actually, I'm gonna go back to the Batman creepypasta. Let's see. Fear Factor. Okay. Oh, is that an animated series one? Ooh, it's a one about the Scarecrow. Ooh, it was an animated series one. Okay, what happens by image? Let's see what we got. Ooh. This stuff is cool. I don't know if I can say that. Ooh. Yeah, there's barely any Batman creepypastas, which is unfortunate because I love Batman. I love Batman and love horror. Why can't there just be any more Batman horror stories? Oh my gosh, hold on. Does a Lego Batman video game creepypasta? Hold on. Oh my gosh. Dude. Oh, it's a silly story. Batman whip out a gun to shoot people, which causes them to bleed. This was disgustingly wrong. Batman never killed, and not with a gun. A little dinosaur from Jurassic World started rising out of the map and yelling clear English about his divorce, but then he went away. Okay, I think I gotta read this. Like, it's a silly story. I need to read this right freaking now. This sounds great. So that's probably gonna be next video. I don't know. I just want to go back to stories because I don't want to get copyrighted from my reactions, just in case. So, my gaming channel's still going strong though, that's good. If there's any stories you guys want me to read, let me know on my Twitter, which is in my description. And I'm thinking about going back to Batman Arkham City. So if you guys want to check that out, my Twitch is going to be in the description below. Well, that's going to be fun. I've only streamed the game once. So I might stream for 5 or 6 hours, I don't know. Depends on how tired I am.